Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special impromptu, if you will, episode of the Royals Rundown podcast. I am Jake Milham, joined as always by Jeremy Greco, but we have a very special guest joining us this morning, Kyle DeGroat, one of the newest additions to the Kansas City Royals organization. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Yes, thank you guys for having me on. And
we're really looking forward to it. Before we get too deep into it, do want to plug one of our good friends here on the podcast, Greg Walker, who just put out a great piece recapping the Kansas City Royals draft. So if you are curious about who went where and why, please go check out that piece from Greg Walker on royalsreview.com. So Kyle, let's go ahead and introduce you to our listeners a little bit. I mean, what, you're a pitcher from New York. I mean, what is how's your high school career looking back on it now that it's over, man?
Yeah, so like you said, high school pitcher out of New York. I feel like as a whole, we don't get as much love and attention as we should. Northeast guys, obviously it's shorter season. We're not outside as long and not as many games and attention as guys get down south. But yeah, New York baseball, New York living kind of made me into who I am. It definitely molded me playing in the cold and battling some things that a lot of players don't, like being down south. But yeah, my high school career was awesome. I was a 4-year varsity starter, two-wayed all of high school, played a lot of second base, a little bit of third, shortstop when needed, but mainly was a position guy up until my junior year and kind of made that switch over. Then became more of a pitcher, but still swung it. I batted two my entire varsity career. And yeah, then pitcher really just took off this year. I took a little bit off defense, just to save my arm a little bit this year, as much as I can, knowing the scouts and all that stuff of the game. So I just played that part smart a little bit more this year than I did in past years. And yeah, it was a great 4 years. And we did our thing as a team. I did my thing. It was a great 4 years, and it really made me into who I am.
Did you start to think that getting drafted was an option for you, and that you might? Did you know that you would need to focus on pitching to accomplish that, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so once it became somewhat reality, it was always pitching for me. I never had that next level ability, defense and offensively. Like I was always a two-way, and I love doing both, but I knew at the next level it's so much tougher, and I just saw myself understanding and wanting to learn about pitching much more. And I'd say this fall, my senior fall, is when I really had some sort of interest. And because I don't know if you guys know what it is, but it's the Metro Scout Day. It's for Northeast guys and in front of scouts, colleges, all that stuff. And I performed really well there. It was through like prep baseball report, all that stuff, youth prospects, they were all there. And I kind of blew up after that. And then that carried over into the winter where I did the Super 60 with prep baseball report, and obviously got a lot of traction there. And then it really just carried over to in season. And then I kind of been living it out since. Everyone kind of asked me, like, how does it feel like with scouts at the games, and like, how nervous are you again? And I really don't get nervous. It's just, they're there and I understand they're there, but I just control what I can inside the lines and compete, dominate as much as I can.
Well, hell yeah. And you did plenty of that. I will say it was great to, I'm not going to pretend like I'm a draft or prospect savant like some other more informed folks out there, but I did get the opportunity to watch a couple of your start. I get it. It's high school competition, but man, you were blowing some of those guys away from the mound. So I'm really excited to see what you can do. I do have to ask, I remember I tweeted about the news breaking that you were signing with the Royals. And people were like, well, why is this such a big deal? He's a 14th rounder. Like, why should we care? And it's like, well, he kind of slid in the draft just because of being committed to Texas. Like, that's a big commitment. And I was curious, like, why did you decide to go pro now? Like, what went into that thought process?
Yeah. So like you said, obviously fell on the boards. But it was always for me, when people ask like what I want to do in baseball, like why I chose pro ball over Texas or whatever it might be, I always say that my goal since I was 4 was to make it to the bigs. Once I started playing baseball, and that was a dream I had and a dream I still have, obviously. And the biggest thing for me was getting my foot in the door. And I feel like pro ball was the easiest way to get going. And the earlier I got into it, I feel like the more development I would have had. And obviously being around all elite level players, elite level coaches, from training to nutrition, all that stuff, the facilities, everything they have to offer. And then just like I said, the atmosphere I'm in. I mean, it's all a lot of these kids that got drafted are 3-4 years older than me. They have much more experience than me. I can learn from them through their process and their experiences. And I just think throughout it all, there's so much learning for me to do. There's so much development for me here at pro ball. And I understand that if this doesn't work out, there's schooling down the line. Like, that's all taken care of with the new MLB rules and all that stuff. So it's not like I can't go back to school. So for me, schooling is always going to be there, and I'm living out a dream. And I feel like this was the best path for me development wise, and trying to make it to the bigs. Like, I've had a dream, like my dream since I was 5. So that's kind of what drove me into pro ball before Texas.
Okay. And truth be told, I'm not gonna pretend like I know your family or nothing, but I spoke with Chris from Indy Pro, and it just sounds like, from what I could tell, it sounds like you got a great support system around you and helped shape this decision. Like, what was your family's reaction? What was your support system's reaction to you get drafted?
Yeah, I mean, their support means like everything to me. And it's family, it's extended family, grandparents, cousins, to my friends, to my past coaches, Chris and Monis, my coaches, like I said, my community, all that stuff. They're all rallied behind me, and it really means so much to me. It makes my job easier knowing that there's people in my corner backing me no matter what I'm doing, and supporting me no matter what decision I make or what my path may take. And it was a hectic couple of days for sure, because we were expecting like a day 2 call, a day 2 like drafting, based off like what scouts were saying and where like boards were falling. Draft is crazy every year, and for me it was. And I fell to the third day. I mean everyone was next door. My grandma lives right next door to me, and my entire family was over there. I just had my 2 parents and brother and sister here on Monday, with the day I thought I was going to get drafted, because I don't want any extra like pressure or anything. So I kept it simple. Everyone else, family wise, was next door, and just like kind of waiting for the call so they could all run over. But obviously it didn't happen. And I went over there right after the draft was over on Monday, and they were all so supportive. They're just all like, hey, you got another day. Like, it's all right. Like, even if this doesn't work out, you're going to Texas. Like, everything will work out. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. So that was a big thing for me, was having people to lean on when even things, not only are they there for me when things are going right and like I'm doing great, but even when things are going wrong, I have people to lean on and look to for advice and motivation and whatever it might be. But Tuesday was crazy. After I got the call, and I knew I was going to be a Royal. I mean, the house was packed quick with family, friends, like I said, coaches, former teammates in high school, whatever it may be. This house was packed, and it was an awesome night for sure. Just with all the people I loved and all the people that supported me throughout my whole career.
Speaking of the Royals drafting you, indication prior to that the Royals were interested in you, or did that kind of shock you when they picked you?
So to be honest, Royals probably the most interest all like baseball season and leading up to the draft. I mean, they were constantly in talks with my advisor, Chris Lamonis, throughout most of the season. And even we were in talks with them on Monday, like just the way like the money was working and the way the board was falling. We just couldn't get something to work. And then we were on the phone with them a lot Monday morning. I was even on the phone with Northeast Scout with the Royals, and my advisor was doing as much as he can, just trying to get information out of them and see where we were at, where they were at money-wise and all that stuff. And even so, we talked to them like the 12th round or so, and they were talking about how like they're going to try to undercut a little more and then give me more in the later rounds. And then we were just sitting there, and then here comes Kyle DeGroat, Walker Senior High School on the draft tracker. And I started freaking out, and it was it from there, because I wasn't expecting. I was expecting later, and I just saw the name, and my family started going insane and I started freaking out. I got on the phone with him immediately. I was like, what just happened? All this stuff. And it was a crazy process for sure, but they had a lot of interest throughout the time. And I had like meetings with them. Like, so it wasn't out of the blue by any means. Royals were one of the most interested most of my high school season.
Like I said, I like to give our listeners a chance to be able to know about you as a person, but one more question about you as a player. What is one thing that Royals fans need to know about you as a player? Like, are you a dog on the mound? Are you overly academic about the game? Like, what do they need to know?
All I gotta say is they're getting a guy who's gonna get in the first day and get to work. I'm driven. I'm the hardest worker in any room I step in, really. And no matter who I'm with, who I'm around, I'm myself, and whatever it takes to get it done, that's what I'm going to do for not only myself, but for the team and whoever needs it. I trust my work. I work all hours of the clock, and that just comes out in a game. I mean, I just let the game play out once it comes down to it, because I just trust my work. I trust what I did. Leading up to whatever it might be, a bullpen or a game, live batters, whatever it might be. I just trust my work, and I'm a student of the game. I'm a beyond hard worker that is going to get to work and make the most of any opportunity I'm given. And I'm super excited to be a Royal and get to work with all these guys, players, coaches, whatever it may be. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that top for sure.
Now, Jeremy, we have a couple of standard questions we like to ask players who come on the podcast. Jeremy, you already know what your usual question is for guys who are on the podcast. Mind asking Kyle real quick?
We like to see if we can let people know a little bit more about you as a person. So what I like to ask, what do you do for fun outside of baseball? Like, what are some of your hobbies or interests?
Yeah, so I'm a big, like I said, with my community. I take care of my community in multiple different ways. I work with special education students in my high school, work with elementary students, like mentoring them. I help in like the local food pantry, things like that. Any way I could give back to my community, I try to do my best to. Obviously, we'll have that when I go away. And along with that, I spend a lot of time with friends, family, whether that's going out with them or just like having them over or whatever it may be. So that stuff's going to create some change for me, because obviously they're not going to be with me all the time and around me. So I'm not into like a lot of extracurricular activities. I obviously work out, all that stuff that consists with baseball, but I'm looking forward to some new things and new adventures, new hobbies, whatever it may be, in Arizona or wherever I'm placed for minor leagues, wherever it might be. I'm excited for some new learning and there's some new lifestyle changes for sure.
Here's a question that's very important for Kansas City fans. How do you feel about barbecue?
I'm a big barbecue guy. We don't have as much as I would wish here in New York. Obviously, because It's not like the right spot for it. But like even when I was down at Texas for my visits, like we would have some good barbecue foods obviously down there, and I'm a big fan for sure. And I can have that multiple times, even multiple times a day, and not complain for sure. So definitely a hit on my list.
Good.
Hell yeah! Well, I'm sure they're going to treat you all to some good barbecue there when you go to Kansas City and get acclimated with the organization.
Yes, sir.
While we're talking about food, my question that I always ask is what's your favorite ballpark food? Like I love a good hot dog. We've had a lot of guys come on here and say that they love the ice cream in a little helmet. Like, what is your go-to ballpark food?
I'll go with two, just because one's like a real food, one's like a dessert. But I can never go wrong with just a regular chicken tenders and fries, like in the bucket or whatever they might give you with some good barbecue sauce. They give you in a little packet, and it never disappoints. Always consistent. I get that pretty much anytime I go to a game. Can never miss on some good chicken tenders and fries, and then. Later on in the game, I'll get that like early in the game, and then like seventh inning before they shut everything down, especially like a night game is getting towards the end. I could always go for some good Dippin' Dots, good like cookies and cream or whatever it's called. I think cookies and cream is Dippin' Dots. I like that over ice cream, and that's the perfect ballpark night for me, food wise.
Did you Did you see the Royals announced their new food item, the taco? Did you see that?
I've not.
They've got this new food item. Let me see. Let me pull this up real quick and describe it.
It's a doozy, Kyle.
I do like tacos, so I'm guessing I'll like it.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's like a hamburger. Okay, it is a hot dog wrapped in a cheeseburger quesadilla, topped with barbecue brisket, French fries, lettuce, onion, sriracha Cracker Jacks, and 816 sauce. I don't know what 816 sauce is, but I'm guessing it's another kind of barbecue sauce because that's Kansas City area code.
That is a lot.
So
on one,
smash a pass on that taco, Kyle.
I can't say anything till I try it, but I'm excited to try it for sure.
There you go. Jeremy, do you have any other questions for Kyle?
This might be a little bit out of left field, but and it's a weird question for me to ask because I don't really have any strong preferences. But do you have any strong preferences about music? Is there any music that you're like, yeah, that's my genre, or any artists?
Yeah, I'm a big like hip hop rap guy. I listen to it almost more than normal. I'll go to school like 7 a.m. and I'm playing it like not really when it's the time for it, but there's different times like there's not all just like high beat, like real loud. Like it doesn't always have to be like that. There's like certain types of hip hop that can like be like still calm and things like that. But I play a little bit of country here and there. I'm probably just more. It's just not really in New York. You find much of it. It's more like down south. But yeah, my favorite artist is Lil Baby for sure.
All right.
Hey, give us the inside scoop, man. Do you know when you're going to Arizona?
I still don't know. I'm still waiting on the time. I know I'm heading straight to AZ. It's not to KC, but we'll see what happens. I'm still waiting on a text or a phone call, whatever it may be, to let me know what's happening.
Oh yeah, we're very excited to follow along with your journey, Kyle. And for folks out there who want to follow along with you on social media, where can they follow you? Like, what are you most active on?
Instagram for sure. Okay. Instagram and Twitter, either one. I post like my baseball stuff on there. Obviously, you guys were posting stuff about the draft, so I retweet a lot, I should say, on Twitter, and then I repost a lot on Instagram. So you can pretty much follow along with anything you need to on those two. Those are my two most active social media. And my username on Instagram is Kyle.DeGroat3. And then I believe my Twitter or X is DeGroat_Kyle. I'm pretty sure those are two.
All right. Well, hey, either way, both of those are going to be linked down in the podcast description below. Kyle, I'm really, really excited that you joined us this afternoon. Really do appreciate your time. Love getting to know you, and hopefully our listeners out there will have the same sentiment. Before we head out, is there anything else that you feel that you need to say to them?
I just want to let you guys all know I'm pumped to be a Royal. I'm excited to get going in AZ, and I'm excited to be a part of this family. And you're getting a hard worker and a guy who's going to get after it and make the most of his opportunity. So that's all you got to know about me, and I'm going to go out there and ball no matter where I am for sure. So I'm excited to be in KC, and I'm excited to be a Royal for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, Kyle, stay on the horn for a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Make sure you rate and review the podcast so we can reach more Royals fans out there. I'm Jake Milham. Jeremy Greco, as always, thank you for joining me. And he is Kyle DeGroat. Make sure you follow along with him on social media.